Have you felt so utterly exhausted that no matter how much sleep that you've actually had, that it doesn't seem to get any better? So, and then you just start wondering, why is life so hard and just exhausting? Have you felt that?
Welcome to menopause exhaustion.
Oh my God.
The episode.
Exactly.
We have, haven't we?
Yes. Yeah.
100%. That waking up, feeling like you've had no sleep, even though you might have done, dragging yourself through the day, kind of with no energy, no va-va-voom, no, you can't be bothered doing anything, going to work, putting the kids, see your parents, cooking a meal. There's just nothing in the tank, and nothing you do seems to fix it.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're talking about. So it's not tiredness, is it? It's not just being tired.
It's exhaustion.
It's that lack of utter energy.
Yeah, it is.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, the fuel tank is on virtually empty.
It's flashing.
Yeah, it is.
That's
This is the 3 hot flushes. We're here today. My name's Sally Prescott, and I'm a leadership and customer service trainer and coach. And we have Karen Clark, who is our menopause educator and the creator of MENOPausitive, the MENOPausitive method.
Correct.
Oh, it's MMM. Great. And we have Julia Fowler, who is our head of HR here at the Lansdowne Club. So here we are at the Lansdowne Club. Thank you to the Lansdowne Club for sponsoring this podcast. And between us, what we're trying to do is, we are doing, is sharing our lived experience, be the listener's voice, and to share some menopause expertise. So what we actually want to do is talk honestly about life, midlife. Is that right?
Midlife and menopause.
Yeah,
absolutely. So when exhaustion just doesn't go away, what are women, what do they start worrying about? And what does that actually mean? What are we worrying about? And what does it mean to us? We're worrying about being exhausted.
Well, I think because you don't understand it, and it may kind of appear slowly before it reaches this crescendo, there's a tendency to take it to the extreme. So you might be worrying that you've got some kind of illness. You'll be midnight scrolling of Dr. Google, what can be wrong with me because I'm exhausted all the time. If you do that, that opens a can of worms that you really don't want to get into. You can start just feeling, I must be really lazy.
Yeah.
You can start feeling, perhaps there's something wrong in my life that I need to fix, or that I need to overhaul my whole life because nothing is working, and just think, I'm old and I'm done.
Yeah.
And this is such a common problem. It's, I know from my own clients, but I know that when I look on Google of what people are looking for on menopause, it's one of the most searched symptoms of menopause. Because so many of us are experiencing it, and it's not like hot flash, which is a one symptom, one cause. This is a multitude of causes and a multitude of symptoms that all rush together to create this exhaustion, which may have built up over time. So it's a massive problem for people, but once you understand it, it's manageable, and that's hopefully what we can talk to our own experiences.
Yeah, I hadn't realised that it was so huge, basically, for so many people.
I would say it's the thing I talk to women about most.
Right.
Kind of exhaustion may be framed as an utter lack of energy, whichever, but it's that whole, I'm not just tired because I can't sleep.
Yeah.
I'm depleted.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. And how does that work with you, Julie? Can you relate to this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Of course you can.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And it's that whole, particularly at the weekend as well, it's just exhausted, having to have that afternoon nap.
Yeah.
Trying to have a lie-in, but you can't have a lie-in because you then mentally awake and you then want to get on and do lots of things, but then you've done some of the things that you need to do, and then you're just like, oh, I'm done. And then you get in the evenings, and it's, you have an hour, and then it's just like, oh, I've got to go to bed.
Yeah.
I just need to go to bed, and then you're back up, and you're in that same cycle, aren't you?
Yeah.
So it's
that exhaustion one, doesn't guarantee sleep necessarily, and sleep doesn't fix the problem either. You know, it's like it's an ever decreasing circle. It's kind of like this is more than the time, the quality that you spend in bed.
Wow.
You know, it is.
And I think that's the thing as well, is when you're that exhausted, what you do is you think, oh my goodness me, I'm going to get into bed now and I'm going to sleep really, really well.
Yeah.
And then you get into bed and then you've then got this anxiety about not being able to sleep or that you need to get off to sleep. And
So common.
And then, of course, you just can't sleep and you toss and turn all night. And
Oh my God. I can
even
so
worse.
relate to that. Getting the train in the morning. I just can't. Anyway.
It's mad, isn't it, though? I mean, we were talking about off camera, but we've all experienced it. And, you know, every conversation we have with somebody, that's one of, even if you start with symptoms that are something else, it seems to come back to, I'm just bloody knackered all the time.
Yeah.
That's, if I could sum up menopause in one sentence, from what I hear from other women, that would be it.
Yeah. Oh, God.
So that's, we need to fix it. It's fixable.
Yeah. So what actually is going on in our body then?
I think the problem is, and the reason that it's so prevalent is that it isn't a one cause thing.
Right.
So hot flashes down to temperature regulation caused by lack of estrogen, whereas exhaustion is multifaceted. So it's down to energy regulation. So as estrogen does decline, without getting too technical, your energy it's so busy doing other stuff that it can't regulate your energy in the same way. So your energy can be up and down. It's also down to hormone shifts. So your lack of estrogen and progesterone affects your sleep. It affects your mood. It affects your ability to recover. So that's something that we don't really consider is part of that energy and part of get up and go is being able to recover. Well, we can't recover in the same way as we could when we were in our 40s. So just your whole energy system is kind of thrown off kilter. We also have stress.
Yeah.
So, and stress can build up slowly over months and years, not just days and weeks. Some of that is midlife, you know, and just the things that we talk about often on this pod, don't we? You know, aging parents, work stresses, the length of a day that we have nowadays doing all the things that we do. Aging parents, you know, all the midlife stuff that goes on causes stress in itself. And because of fluctuating hormones, our bodies are less able to manage cortisol and therefore insulin, and that can have a real drain. Insulin resistance can have a real drain on your energy levels. So there's just 3 things caused by hormones. Inflammation can be up in midlife and menopause. So your body is trying to fix inflammation wherever it is in your body. So it's using energy to do things that really should be down to you getting up and having a great day. And as I mentioned earlier, there's also a recovery issue. So we can't recover the same as we did. So even if we're exhausted in our 30s, stop, rest, reduce stress, have better sleep, and that will help us. This doesn't work in midlife. So all these things kind of come together. And everyone's different. So your stressor, Julia, might be cortisol. Your stress might be that your progesterone is really low, so it's affecting your sleep. Mine might be I'm not sleeping enough and recovery. I can't recover properly because my sleep quality is really poor, down to fluctuating hormones. So everybody's route to exhaustion isn't the same. The overriding symptom is the same.
Yeah.
And you know, even the causes of those that we've just talked about then, the causes might be different as well. So someone's stress trigger is different.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think it's such a big problem in midlife and menopause, is that there isn't one root cause for it. It just all kind of comes together at one time.
Yeah. So it sounds as if like we've got the same symptom, but actually the complexity of what's going on inside our body could be multiple of those things or just one of those things, but it's very unique, obviously.
You've actually just summed up in one sentence what took me about 11, but yes, that's exactly it. Yes,
Yeah.
that, what she said.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's really good. So, you know, yeah. So that kind of says to me that when we go on holiday, you go on holiday and you think, right, I'm going to have a lovely, relaxing time, but you still have it. When you come back, you're still exhausted. It doesn't.
Yeah, I think if I could sum it up in one sentence and say, you know, you're exhausted not because you're weak or because you're past it. You're exhausted because for whatever reasons your system is absolutely overloaded. and it's got nothing else to give, and it's so busy fighting whatever else is going on in your body that it just leaves you with nothing left to give, and this utterly depleted phrase comes to mind. So as always, it's not weakness, it's not age, it's not a lack of effort, it's hormones and hormone overload or underload, as the case may be.
So how do we start to regain our energy, and how do we, you're saying that there's, it could be different reasons that we're lacking energy and feeling exhausted. So how do we fix and identify those different reasons why I'm feeling exhausted because of something and Sally's feeling exhausted because of something else?
Yeah, I think, and we're at danger of sounding like a stuck record here, but it's not, because the same solution applies to almost all causes in menopause. It starts with an awareness of what's happening, and a willingness to fix it, I think. So, when do I feel exhausted? What's causing that? What might trigger that? How do I feel? And really understanding your symptoms. So when you feel exhausted, what else might be going on at that moment in time? Am I also having a hot flash? Is that what's exhausting me? Did I have a terrible night's sleep? Is that what's exhausting me? Am I stressed because I've got something going on at work? Finding out what is actually going on and what is the root cause of those problems. Because, if I've got a client who comes to me exhausted, I can't just go, here's, eat this, take this, do this, because we have to get right into what's going on and pull through what might be happening. And then, over the period of time, as with all your symptoms, is track those symptoms and understand when they're occurring and what they actually are. Don't make assumptions, because exhaustion, if I'm really honest, exhaustion isn't really a symptom. It is, but it's the result of other symptoms and other things that are happening in your life that we've just talked about. So, your list might be this long, and then we just work through them one by one and go, right, that's what's happening there. What do we do? What do we do to fix it? So it's almost like creating a little checklist of things that are happening. And then when you understand the root cause, then you can start thinking about what some of the solutions might actually be. But I would always start with what's happening, when, why, what do I learn about it? So therefore, what might be the root cause of that exhaustion?
And are there any tips while you're learning and trying to fix that, of things that you can do to try and sort of increase your energy levels and feel less exhausted whilst you're on that journey?
I think whilst you're on that journey, you will automatically do things, because you'll find out if you're a afternoon crash, you crash after lunch, then you will realise, it's after lunch that I crashed, and automatically you know what the cause of that. So that's the kind of the food that you might be having at lunchtime, the meals that you're having at lunchtime. If you're a get up in the morning with no energy, then you know that you might need to fix your morning routine over time. So the thing about exhaustion is it's not fixed overnight. There isn't go and get 8 hours sleep and you'll be fine. You need to understand those root causes and start building habits and lifestyle that will start to help you improve that, because it's not just a kind of one size fits all.
And obviously a chocolate bar and a fizzy drink isn't going to help me at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Truthfully, it'll help me for 20 minutes and it'll give you the thing that you want, but then you'll slump again, because that's your blood, that's playing havoc with your blood sugar. And that's one of the triggers, really. So it's understand them, and it's hard to be very prescriptive, because we could say some things here that don't apply to somebody and then send them down the wrong rabbit warren. It's a really getting to what is making me so tired and why. And the only way you can do that is with self-awareness.
Yeah.
So if you look for the fix before you find cause, you'll find the wrong fix. It's like just delving into the doctor's prescriptions and picking out one that you think might fix. Might fix something that you don't really know. You don't really got a headache or a tummy ache or a leg ache.
And is it something that can take a long time to fix, or is it something that actually, once you start to identify that it can, you can turn it around relatively quickly?
It depends on what you're fixing. I can speak from my own personal experience that I had quite recently morning energy issues, having gone from being a lark to really struggling with mornings. And I looked at all, what was causing it, what I was eating the night before, what I was having for my breakfast, what time I was getting up, what I was doing when I got up, the expectations I had of myself when I got up, how I was working through the rest of the day, how I felt in the rest of the day, and I came to some conclusions that were about my cortisol stress levels, and the impact that was having on my insulin. So, which might sound technical, but basically the thing that fixed me when I went through all this, and it took me 2 or 3 weeks to work out what it was that was going wrong. The biggest impact, the biggest thing that I found to improve my mornings was actually my morning routine. So I changed the way I ran my mornings. I was making sure that I got up slowly, I had a bit of head space before I started rushing into things. Always start with hydration, putting protein, making sure I had some protein before I had coffee. So these are protocols that you'll learn as you go through the process. But I changed my morning routine right up to lunchtime. And within less than 2 weeks, 10 days, I started to feel better. And 6 months on, so this wasn't that long ago, 6 months on, I can't believe how great I feel in the mornings. Even when I've had not the best night's sleep, it's literally unbelievable. So that time, and I kind of know, but it took me some time to work it out. But rather than just rushing into, I'll take a supplement that someone tells me is good for energy, or I really dug into what might be going wrong. And you might need some help doing that, and finding the right website or the right resources to do that. But it is so worth investing 2 or 3 weeks of your time to really understand it, rather than jumping straight for a pill or a diet that someone sells you or whatever it might be, to find out what is the right thing for you, because you understand better than anybody else.
I think that's the all too easy thing, isn't it? With all the advertising that's around, is just to reach for that supplement and think, actually, I'm going to take that and that's going to magically cure me and take this away.
And sometimes it does for a while, and people go, oh, I'm taking, I'll not mention any brands, such a menopause product, and I feel great. And a month later, oh no, I don't. Was that some kind of placebo effect, or was it just, I had a little kick of vitamin C or E or whatever product was in that? But it doesn't last until you get to the root cause of yours. And, there are a few things that all tied around hormones, and it also depends, on the stage of perimenopause and menopause that you're in. So in early perimenopause, your hormones are still quite high but fluctuating. So the impact that has on your energy is more likely to be a fluctuating energy that's new to you. As you progress through and your estrogen drops, still fluctuating, and your progesterone falls off a cliff, that is demonstrated in a different way. And especially progesterone, which disappears, that can have a huge effect. So, we're thinking about solutions. HRT is actually one of the solutions that can help many women with the energy thing. And when I speak to women, anti or pro HRT, they go, the first thing, hot flashes were the first things it fixed, and then suddenly my energy came back.
Yeah.
Not for everybody, because it depends on the cause.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for a lot of people, it's one of the best solutions that we can have. So, I think we'll come on to the specific solutions in a second, I'm sure. But one of the things, there are solutions out there, but don't go looking for them until you know the root cause.
Yeah.
Is my absolute advice. And we went through it in a conversation, didn't we?
Yeah,
with your energy
and
and trying to work out what was causing it, when it was happening, and then slowly changing some things that would help.
Yeah. And sugar, I think, is a big thing for me. Like, I've reduced it. I don't go for the biscuits anymore. I don't go for the So it's sugar is basically as much as possible out of my diet. I'm sure it's not, because it's always hidden somewhere, but it's hidden sugar, not obvious sugar. So
sugar's not great the best at times, but with less estrogen, your body is less able to process sugar and for it to do the job and turn to glucose to give you the energy that you need.
Yeah.
It just floats around your body, making you feel terrible. And that's when this whole blood sugar insulin sensitivity comes through.
Yeah.
So controlling your blood sugar is one of the main things you can do for your energy.
Yeah.
So, non-processed foods, reducing sugar, but mainly focusing on protein and fibre to keep you, from your first meal. And this isn't, I'll just have protein and fibre for breakfast. For every meal that you take, making sure you've got the right amount of protein and fibre in there will keep your blood sugar stable. And then the things you do around it will be less impactful anyway. So that's kind of number one advice, if that's something that's been affected. As another general one is kind of exercise you do and looking after your muscle.
Yeah.
And making sure your strength is there. That will keep your energy. The more muscle you keep your metabolism going, and your ability to manage energy better will be driven by that. Managing stress. So whatever the stresses are in your life, they can be, the day-to-day ones of midlife, like we talk about a lot, or they can be, the food that you're eating and the way that you're exercising. So if you're going for 6-mile runs 4 times a week, that will raise your cortisol level. So it's not just the exercise that is making you tired. The impact that has on your stress levels later will absolutely wipe you out and exhaust you. So that needs to be combined with strength training. And then HRT, as I've said, is another great one. So what you eat, how you move, you sleep, you stress, and then using medication through the right HRT.
Yeah.
So it's not just, again, you go to your GP and say, I'm menopausal, they'll give you a prescription. You go to your GP and say, I'm perimenopausal, one of my main symptoms is exhaustion, and I think it's derived from X, Y, or Z. I think I'm, at this stage of perimenopause. Then you can have a conversation about the right level of progesterone, estrogen, and maybe testosterone as well. Testosterone is a hormone that's all about energy and get up and go. So it might be that's completely depleted. So this episode is kind of about, let's talk about the problem. You need to find out your own problem first and then find the solutions.
Yeah. So it sounds to me like this big holistic view is so, so important, isn't it? It's like the whole, and it is about picking, isn't it? I mean, the conversations you and I have had, though that picking, the questions that you ask, you kind of like, when you realise that, it makes such a difference. I mean, such a difference. It's just, it's unbelievable, really.
Yeah, and the level of detail that you're, required to make a real difference. So, it's, you go on Instagram or Facebook now and you're meant to eat more protein.
Yeah.
But people don't realise how much that might actually be.
Yeah, that's a shock to me.
It's a shock because we're, normally we're all under eating protein, especially our generation who were told to eat more vegetables and, meat was bad and all that kind of stuff. So, you need 30 grams of protein with each meal, which is, go and look at it, that's quite a lot. But once you start establishing those, the impact that you have when you would add fibre to that so you can digest it and absorb things properly, is significant.
Yeah.
And as with everything, it's how much you're prepared to put into something.
Yeah.
I have a phrase that the more you put into something, the more you'll get out of it.
Yeah.
And this is absolutely a case where there isn't a quick fix.
Yeah.
But it's why would you at the age of 45 decide that you're just too knackered to do anything, to exercise, to go out with your friends, to look after your body, to progress your career, to live your best life, just because you don't really know how to dig into what might be going on?
Absolutely.
And waiting for someone to give you a pill.
Yeah, exactly.
But I suppose there is an element as well, whereas when you're that exhausted and you're that frustrated with that exhaustion, that it's hard to then get yourself out of that place as well.
Yeah.
So if you're experiencing that, where is the best place to try and start, to try and make that difference? And
that is such a good question.
Yeah,
that I've never been asked, and my brain's now taken. No, I'm a massive believer in menopause communities, be they formal or informal. So, workplaces having a menopause cafe, in gyms and stuff. I go and do workshops in a few gyms now that, Pilates classes and stuff like that, and having these conversations with or without me. You don't need a menopause expert there necessarily. It's just kind of this sense of community. Or it could just be with your girlfriends, over coffee or a cocktail or whatever, just going, this is what's happening to us. Most of the information, if I'm honest, is out there. The problem is it's wrapped in
A whole pile of other stuff.
A whole pile of other stuff that may not be. But if you look hard enough, you can find solutions. Or listen to this podcast. Because the information is out there, and talking in group, that group community thing is so powerful. When it's the right group of people who have all got an interest at heart. Other things are, your GP or your menopause nurse is a bit of a lottery. If I'm honest, but when you get a good one, that can be really helpful. If you go in and come out with antidepressant, that's not really worked. Some menopause nurses are really good. Finding a private practitioner, podcasts, books, novels. You know, there's certain, you know, I'd recommend everybody watches Davina McCall's program, which is now several years old, but it's still a great watch to try and understand what might be going on.
Yeah.
But mainly I'd say community talking.
Yeah, it's amazing because I've got this vision in my head of like someone sat on the sofa and feeling just so exhausted, and actually from the sofa they can start actually analysing what's going on. It's like a first step, isn't it? Like, what is it I'm eating? What is it I'm doing? And then, you know, change those eating habits, and then slowly then start, you know, muscle building and all that. You can, it's slowly, isn't it, to get off the sofa almost, metaphorically.
I'm a huge fan of checklists, as you know. So, you know, having a checklist that says this is what I'm eating for breakfast, and then watching it as you tick off day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and then you do start to feel, it doesn't happen all overnight, but you do start to see changes in, you know, if you eat well, you'll sleep better. If you do the right exercise rather than the wrong exercise, you'll keep your cortisol down and you'll feel better. You know, if you manage your stress, you'll feel better. But acknowledge it and give yourself a pat on the back. Yeah. So, you know, in a week, here's days that I ate well and here's the days that I didn't eat well. How did I feel?
Yeah.
You know, you can see it happening. It's not a miracle. You can see it happening before your eyes. It's science.
Yeah.
But just stick at it. And, you know, do you want to be that person lying on the sofa for the next 10 years? Or do you want to be up and at them with your grandchildren in 15 years' time when you've got bags of energy and, you know, you see it on Instagram, don't you? The old woman who's run a marathon or whatever she's done, jumped out of a plane.
Yeah.
That's who I want to be.
Yeah.
I don't want to be sat feeling sorry for myself because
I'm
60 and I've got no energy.
Yeah, well, exactly. Sitting doing your knitting.
I might still be doing my knitting, but I'd just be doing it in a plane. You know, we owe it to ourselves.
Yeah.
No one's going to come and fix this for us.
Yeah.
I say it a lot, don't I? And I sound a bit naughty. And I am a bit naughty because it's in our hands to do it. We owe it to ourselves. We owe it to our children, grandchildren. We owe it to our partners, to our friends. And if we don't do it, then we don't do it.
Yeah.
So
great.
Yeah. Self-fellowship, fix it.
Oh, I love it.
It's all out there.
Get rid of that exhaustion.
Yeah. And it's horrible. You know, it is horrible and debilitating. But with a bit of work, you can really, really help yourself.
Yeah. It is good, isn't it? So are there any final words from us to close this wonderful, exhausting episode?
I'm absolutely knackered. Absolutely.
Anything from you, Julia?
Yeah, I mean, just echoing Karen's words is just, you know, really understand what's going on underneath so that you can start fixing it, because there is nothing worse than feeling exhausted and not being able to, you know, carry out your daily tasks.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just horrible when you feel that exhausted.
Yeah. I would say, I think, look at it as, don't be overwhelmed. So it's, you know, listening to us for the last, whatever it is, half hour, it's easy to be overwhelmed and think that's too much. Just look at it as very small stages. So start to understand, once you find a trigger or a thing that's going wrong, look for the fix for that.
Yeah.
So just changing your breakfast will help. Yeah. Just going for a walk after dinner will help. And then be proud of yourself when you've done that. Yeah. And then go on to the next thing, rather than thinking, I'm here and I've got to get all the way over there. Think, I'm here and here's some small steps that I'm going to take. But the small steps are massive. So don't be overwhelmed.
Yeah. I think it's good advice. And I do think my parting comment is, I think these podcasts will really help women to look at the holistic, because we've overlapped, haven't we, from other episodes, because everything interconnects, you know, with the hormones and things like that, and stress and all that. So, yeah, I just think tune in, because from the experience I've had working with you, Karen, is, only this morning, you know, things are a bit full on at the moment, but I feel all right about it.
And you're coping.
Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, it's good. You know, I don't feel as if I need to go and crawl under my duvet right now, you know.
And you have a blip. But then you know how to get yourself out. So just, you know, to our listeners, be more Sally. Just find one little thing that's going to help today, and then tomorrow find another.
Yeah.
And I have to say, you know, starting my strength exercises as well.
Oh, a little bit of an update. The challenge is on. Yeah.
But yeah, I've done a few sessions now, but I am feeling better for it in a positive way, and in a way that I never thought was possible.
That's brilliant. I love that.
It's so true, isn't it? Because you get used to your norm, don't you? You kind of go, this is how it is.
Yeah.
But it's not how it is.
Yeah. So that has helped with my energy levels as well. I'm proud of me.
Good joke. Well,
Brilliant.
thank you. And we'll see you soon.
Let's go for a lie down.
Yeah. Duvet's calling. No, it's not. It's not.
Fabulous.